Hello YouTube family and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is McKinney and I love making videos about slow fashion, capsule wardrobing, and finding your personal style. Now, a lot of people who would look at my wardrobe wouldn't consider it a traditionally minimalist wardrobe. I have a lot of things that have a lot of details and specifically feminine elements, things like ruffles, floral prints, things like that. And so when we think about minimalism, that's not really what we think about. We think about like clean lines, neutral colors, really like kind of downplayed fabrics and things like that. But I'm here to talk about 10 things that I don't buy anymore as someone who considers herself a minimalist, in that I like to keep very few things in my closet and be super intentional about the things that I do buy. So rather than having things in excess, I want to keep only the things that are absolutely essential to truly displaying my personal style to the outside world. Now, these things are not meant to be a censure on anyone who continues to buy these things. These are just the 10 things that I personally do not purchase anymore because I simply don't find the need for them. And these can be a guide for you in case you want to think about making your closet a little bit more minimal or paring things down slightly. But before we get into the 10 items that I no longer buy, and maybe you shouldn't either, I want to please ask you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and give me a thumbs up. If you don't follow me on Instagram, please do so. I upload a reel every week and I've been having a lot of fun making those, so I'd love for you to join me over there. Let's go ahead and get into the 10 items that I no longer purchase. Now, this list is really timely in that in 5 years, I might be eating my own words. But right now, these are 10 items that I don't buy anymore. So the first item on that list are things that aren't in my color scheme. I think developing a color scheme is one of the most important things that you can do in terms of minimizing your wardrobe and making it more wearable. And so if something isn't in my color scheme or doesn't fit into my color scheme, I essentially write it off completely. That might sound a little bit harsh, but it really helps me to curate my shopping lists, my shopping trips, and it helps me save money and take more time deciding if that piece is really worth it. Do I try to make it fit into my current color scheme? Do I wait to find another piece that is actually in my color scheme? I would say go for the latter. Keep searching until you find something that suits that gap that is within your color scheme. But if it's not in my color scheme, I don't buy it. The second item on the list of things that I no longer buy are things that are almost perfect, but just not quite. I have fallen into this trap so many times. If you've ever been thrifting, secondhand shopping in person or online, or even just shopping regularly at a department store, etc., it's really likely that you're going to find a piece that almost fits the gap in your wardrobe, but there's something about it that is just a little bit off. Sometimes it's not in your color scheme. Sometimes the fit isn't quite right and it would be too difficult to fit. Sometimes the buttons gap in a weird way. Sometimes it lays on your shoulders in a weird way. Sometimes you don't have the right size, but there's a size just below or just above your size. And you begin making concessions to yourself in order to purchase that item because it's right there in your hands or in front of your eyes. I'm here to tell you that you should not buy it. I have made this mistake way too many times, so please learn from me. I've had to declutter so many almost perfect items from my wardrobe because even though they feel like the right decision in the moment, I almost never end up wearing them because of that thing that is just slightly off. It's so worth it to take the time to find a piece that fits perfectly into the gap in your wardrobe rather than make excuses to just buy something for that immediate and instant gratification. The third item that I no longer buy are actually a collection of items, and these are pieces that are either completely or mostly synthetic materials. Now, this is a little bit difficult for activewear and things like that, so I'm talking about my core wardrobe, but I find that things that are 100% polyester or materials like that just aren't breathable, don't really lay right on my body, and there's just something about them that feels off, not to mention the environmental impact of continually wearing and drying them. For the most part, they just don't feel practical or wearable to me. And so when I started my capsule wardrobing journey, I really prioritized mostly natural or completely natural fabrics. Things like silk, cotton, and wool are really beautiful. Some other exceptions that are really cooling that are slightly processed but still come from natural sources are things like modal and tencel. That's not to say that I don't own any polyester pieces in my wardrobe right now, but that does mean that I don't actively seek out to purchase things in synthetic fabrics because I don't think it suits my lifestyle. That's not to say that it won't suit yours, but for me, it's just not my thing. The fourth item that I no longer purchase are things that make it increasingly difficult to wear a bra with. Now, I know that there are a lot of ways around this. You can either go braless or you can wear one of those sticky ones, which is totally fine. And I definitely, have situations where that happens. But I find that making it difficult to put on a bra and have my bra straps showing, or it just looks weird, is just too high a barrier for me to add that piece into my wardrobe. I need things to be really, really easy or else I won't wear them. And so this is one qualification that has become really important to me over the past couple of years. And it's something that I actively think about now when I'm trying to make a purchase. For example, last year, I thought about buying one of those beautiful tank tops that really have a nice cut out here around the shoulders, but it was the kind of shirt that you really couldn't go braless with, but it was also really difficult to wear just a regular bra, and it was difficult to wear like a halter bra, one that, keeps the straps closer to your neckline. Still, my straps would show either way. At the end of the day, I decided that it was too difficult to style and I didn't purchase it. As much as I like it in the moment, if I know that I'm gonna have a hard time wearing it in the future, it's just not worth my time. The fifth item that I no longer buy are pieces that fit in a really classic or traditional way, specifically when it comes to business wear. Now, let me describe that a little bit. I love the way a beautifully tailored suit looks on somebody, but it doesn't necessarily suit my personal style. Most traditionally cut blazers cut me off at a weird point right in between my hips and my natural waist. It's just kind of awkward. And I really like more movement in my trousers. Plus, I've moved beyond the traditional button-down shirt silhouette and into things that are a little bit more dynamic, have more movement, or have more standout silhouettes. Things that are traditionally cut look really beautiful on other people, but they don't suit me. I'd much rather go for something flowy or oversized or even a little bit androgynous. The sixth item that I no longer buy as of right now are skinny jeans. I do have a pair of black skinny jeans in my wardrobe, so I do have to qualify with that point. But in terms of buying skinny jeans in a regular blue denim, it's just really not for me. I spent the majority of my teenage years and my young adult years wearing a lot of skinny jeans, but I discovered straight leg jeans about 3 or 4 years back, and I have not looked back since. They suit my body type so much better, and I think that they just look more mature and more put together on me personally. Now, I love the way that skinny jeans look on other people, but I don't think they're for my body type. So as of right now, I'm just not buying them anymore. The seventh type of item that I no longer purchase are items that are really cute, but make it uncomfortable for me to relax or make me self-conscious when I move around. I think specifically of things like really low-cut blouses and really short skirts. I think they're so cute and they suit certain people so well. But every single time I wear something like that, it makes me self-conscious about the way that I move or the way that I'm sitting down down or the way that I'm standing. If I have to think extra about the way that I'm moving when I'm wearing something, it probably isn't worth it for that item to be in my closet. The eighth type of thing that I no longer purchase are things that are overtly trendy and that I would only purchase for trends' sake. Now, I think that trends always have some classic elements to them. We have trends that come back that are really timeless, things like plaid, or things like black or color trends. Things like academic trends that tend to highlight really kind of traditionally preppy pieces tend to be pretty timeless. But there are some trends out there that are just overtly trendy. I think we can look at the upcoming trend of jelly shoes or kidcore or subversive basics, and I think that those are really cool. They're very editorial and they can be really fun if it matches your style persona, but it doesn't match mine. And so I don't want to intentionally purchase something just because it's trendy where I will only wear it for a season. To me, that feels very wasteful, not only of the product itself, but also of my money and my time that I spent searching for that item. So I no longer buy things that are overtly trendy or that I will only buy for trend's sake. And the last two items that I no longer purchase really go hand in hand, and that's things that are itchy and things that regularly shed. Now, these kind of go together because I find that things that are itchy also tend to shed, and things that shed also tend to be itchy. For example, one time I tried on this really beautiful cardigan. I believe it was made from mohair, but I took it off. I was wearing black pants at the time, and I looked down and my pants were just coated in the mohair from the cardigan. I immediately knew that it was just not going to be a piece for me because I didn't want to constantly be using the lint roller to remove this hair from my pants. This is especially applicable for knitwear, and it goes the same for anything that is itchy. I want to buy things that have wool blends, are in merino wool or cashmere, because I find that those fabrics tend to be less itchy than things that are worsted wool or boiled wool or anything of that sort. If I have to intentionally wear an undershirt where I usually wouldn't wear an undershirt, then it just becomes kind of annoying, not to mention hot, because I live in Southern California and sometimes a thin or base layer can really be a deal breaker for going outside. Those are the 10 items that I no longer purchase, and you may have noticed a trend between all of these. It's simply that I don't want to purchase things that make it difficult for me to get dressed. I want to make the barrier as low as possible so that I can spend time enjoying my wardrobe. If you find that that is true for you, then I would really suggest sitting down and making a list of items that no longer suit you or that you no longer want to buy. That way, when you see a trend, if it is one of these items, then you know that you can just write it off instead of having to go through the decision fatigue or go through the loss of purchasing it, wearing it once, and then having to part with it because it doesn't work for you. So if this video was helpful for you, please subscribe down below and give me a thumbs up. Like I said before, if you don't follow me at Instagram, my handle is on the screen. I make a reel every week and have had a lot of fun doing that. As always, thank you for watching. It's always such an honor to spend this time with you every week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!